quality over quantity. Focus on creating quality content to build brand trust slowly. Building a strong, sustainable brand, it takes time. It takes strategy. It takes marketing. It takes planning. It takes research. All these different things come into play when you're building that brand, getting your name out there, because one, you're building that trust as well.
Because things have drastically changed with social media.
Yes.
So, you don't have to take years to build a
that
loyal,
is so true.
A loyal brand behind your, loyalty and stuff like that.
I think social media expedited the process. Yes.
Let's chill. Hello, bonjour, hola, sanibonani.
Namaste. What up, Chaplain Chillers? Yes, it's your boy, Coach LJ. And I'm with my best friend, my business partner, my awesomeness, the one and only Lady C. That she is in the building. Yes. Yes. Hear about that each and every week. Yes. And so are you ready for another transformative and empowerment episode of Chilling with the Chaplins? Where we are elevating lives, empowering businesses, uniting cultures, and fueling success. So yes, let's get it started. What's popping today?
Yeah, so in light of the recent allegations between Facebook and Netflix of the 100 million that we covered last week. If you haven't checked out that episode, do check it out. Where they were selling each other our private messages. That just showed us how much lack of trust there is within business. You know? So as people are losing trust in businesses, even those who lost their businesses during COVID and so forth, it begs to question that how can we ensure that our businesses maintain its integrity and trust? So let's talk about this, all right? So our title is, how can businesses ensure integrity and trust, right? So let's talk. What can we say about those, especially you as the business guru in this space?
I'm not gonna say I'm a guru. I'm just saying I know about business. I study business. I understand business. But yeah, a lot of people, they lost trust during COVID, because during COVID people got burned.
They lost trust during COVID?
Yeah, a lot of people.
They lost trust in businesses.
And businesses during COVID, because people was starting businesses. They were doing things corrupt and cheating and lying and doing these different things. And so now.
Well, I don't think it's that. Business got because nobody expected COVID to happen and for that long. And so businesses were not prepared for that kind of shaking. So most business people or entrepreneurs lost their businesses because it was lack of preparedness. I don't think it was even much of trust, but it was lack of preparedness.
But I'm talking even in the coaching space and the courses space, because a lot of courses came out during that time. People would start courses and
because they had to keep people busy.
Yeah, they had to. And so now, people, is afraid to invest their money now because of, people would, you see a lot of crooks out there. There's a lot of crooks.
But there were crooks even before COVID.
It sure was.
Crooks will always be there. Let's talk
about. And a lot of times they would, and a lot of times too, they were showing you chasing the fast money, and so yeah, that's another reason why too.
So I'd like us to just talk about that, on how we can build trust in businesses and create loyalty and brand equity that will last beyond existence, even if another COVID comes or whatever.
Well, I see down to your children as well. Right. That's what I'm about, building brand equity that live beyond me.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that lives beyond me. Yeah,
and building that legacy. Yeah. So grab your notepads, and because we're gonna be talking about really great, giving you insights on how we can
revolutionized.
right? Our approach to businesses. So, what do you have to say, Coach LJ?
What do I have to say about that? Because when you start in a business, I know it looks fancy, it looks sexy. I know businesses. They during COVID, they were showing the fast life. They made it look so good, and business is not really like that. It's the slow grind. Business is not built that way. And I always say, COVID was an anomaly. And what you see on social media that's not real life. That's not how business really operate. It's a slow grind and building that brand and building that business. It's just like we always say, Rome wasn't built in a day. Building a strong, sustainable brand, it takes time. It takes strategy. It takes marketing. It takes planning. It takes research. All these different things come into play when you're building that brand, getting your name out there, because one, you're building that trust as well. And so the thing is, a lot of times we look on social media. And so that's why sometimes we always say social media could be a blessing and a curse. I love social media, but also it could be a curse because we're seeing a lot of these people and we feel like, they done it fast and they done it this and they done it this. And we forget, though, some of these people that started probably in 2010, 2018, 2012, and then they built it up. And then during COVID, they started seeing massive growth because of the anomaly right there. So, yeah, it's a slow grind when you're building a business. I always say, and I'm going to repeat myself again, that when you're starting a business or entrepreneurship, you got to give yourself 3 to 5 years. And a lot of the business too, when you're starting like a clothing brand, the overhead is a lot higher. So you definitely got to plan for it, because you could go bankrupt real quick if you don't really prepare yourself. Yeah.
So let's talk new money versus old money.
Yes.
The vision for the future.
Yeah. Let's talk now. So we want to kickstart with this understanding of the vision and this philosophy. Because to me, I think it's all mindset. This new money mindset is instant gratification. Getting in now, doing whatever it takes, regardless of what happened or who they burnt, who they knocked down. It's that instant gratification. I want it now, want it now, want it now, want it now. But old money understand that it's a process. It's a slow grind. They're playing the long game. That's what it's about. They playing old money play the long game. Because
those are all American terms that I have no idea what you're talking about. Long game, long money, old money. Okay. Enlighten us.
Yes, that's something that I just came up with. New money, old money. Put like the new money is the new generation or the new marketers or the new business owners for today. Old money, think of the older generation, the older businesses.
That's not an American term. You came up with it.
Well, I came up with the topic. Okay. The topic, but it's been around. It's an American term, but the topic, my philosophy, my thinking of new money, old money, and this is what it is. But old money, I think of old money is like Rockefeller. I think of like Apple. I'm not gonna say Apple. I'm gonna say Steve Jobs. How he built the business. Steve Jobs was a master in building the brand, and where he not even here no more, but people still rocking Apple. Because he built the legacy brand that when you want to be a part of Apple. Even though Apple is not the best phone, it's not the best. Then when they come up with
how he pulled the brand, he did great marketing, just like how the United States markets its country. Mm-hmm. Like people are thinking, my God, United States. And only when you get a closer look, you're like, United States?
Yes. Yeah. That's good marketing too.
It's good marketing.
Good branding.
Good PR, yeah. So I think same thing with even Rockefeller and even Steve Jobs and many companies out there. There's no perfection.
Yes, Coca-Cola, Walt Disney. They they built it up through research, do planning, do marketing, do all the different things.
And they built great brand loyalty.
Great brand loyalty. They built it right. They do feedback, all the different things. They did it right. So this is why I say new money, old money, because they when they was building the business, they would like, you know what, their vision is that I want this business to outlive me. I'm not building for just for me, for this generation. I'm building this building so that
generations to come,
so that it still be here, so that I can leave it to my children. They can take over, do whatever they want to do.
And they've done exactly that.
Yeah, like Rockefeller, he put a trust in. His family can't even do nothing with it because he got that trust where the trust is running the businesses.
So how can we how can your vision, today shape a legacy brand like Rockefeller and Apple? Because like you're saying, they build a legacy for generations to come. So how can that go? How can we build our current businesses and brands to be like them? Because I think they set a really good example.
Yeah, they did. They set a good example. And this is, I think when you start in a business, I think you definitely should do your homework. And you
due diligence.
Due diligence. Look at these different brands that been there before you, and then admire the one that you want to be a part of, and you see how they do things. Especially if let's say you in the oil, because Rockefeller was he has stayed in the oil. So let's say you want to be in the oil business. You see how you study how he done it. You study how Steve Jobs broke in. You study how Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX. Elon Musk though is messing up right now. He gotta, with X and Twitter and all this kind of stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say he's messing up. I would say
he's losing his focus.
No, he's testing different things. He's an entrepreneur. The entrepreneurs don't stick to one thing. He's testing different things. And doing that has taken him to where he is today.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because when you in business or entrepreneur, you're gonna take a lot of risks.
Yeah,
and you're gonna lose a lot. And so this is the thing, and this is exactly what Elon Musk is doing. He's taking risks right now, and a lot of risks.
That's what business requires.
And so a lot of times when you're in business, you're not gonna understand different things. You're not going to understand what maybe the customer is doing, your employee is doing. Sometimes you might take that back seat, but you got to be willing to take the risks, take them chances to test and retest and do all these different things. But you look at these different brands, see how they doing it, because do you want it, the new money, when you get into business today and, maybe 3 years from now, because you didn't build it right, you didn't build that brand loyalty, and then when 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
I think things are changing. If you're putting it like a time frame to it, especially like you're saying, what, short money or long money? I don't know the difference.
New money, old money. New money, old money.
Like, because things have drastically changed with social media.
Yes.
So, you don't have to take years to build a loyal...
That is so true.
A loyal brand behind you, loyalty and stuff like that.
I think social media expedited the process. Yes. If you do it right, social media expedited. But still, you're still building that brand. You still need to build that trust, because nobody's not gonna buy anything from you until they get to know you.
Try and test it.
Yeah, try and test it. They gotta see what you're talking about. It's like even when you're doing a podcast or you're starting YouTube, people they gotta see if they like you, they rock with you. So this is what you do, but that research and development is very critical when you're building a business and you're building it. And so when you look at these different legacy brands that was out there that done it before, you see how they done things, you see how they do things. And so you gotta like, okay, how do I want? We always say, how do I want my business to be? Do I want it to be? Do I want to be shabby, raggedy? Or do I want to do it right and have to build a sustainable business? So let's talk about sacrifice versus obedience, the long game. Because this is what we got to learn how to tackle, And when I think of sacrifice versus obedience, because you're going to have to, sometimes we in the world of this instant gratification, microwave generation, as the old folks used to say when we was in church. But when you are in business, you gotta play the long game. It gotta be delayed gratification, because sometimes it might not work out the way you wanted to work out at first. And this is why, like with Elon Musk, you might think he's crazy. You might say he's doing things like, he don't know what he's doing, but you know what? He playing the long game.
He's making those tough choices.
He's making those tough choices. Yeah.
He's taking that risk, and that's what business is about. Just taking those risks
and sticking to your original business goals. You know your goals. You have a plan. You know what you want from that business, and you just stick to your original plan. You stick to your original goals. And so this is why we said sacrifices versus obedience, because you sacrificing the instant gratification for the delayed gratification, and then your obedience to stick it to the long term game, then I think eventually you will see the success that you want to have.
Absolutely. So what about reinvent investment strategy? How does that work as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's when you reinvest back into the business. So you're prioritizing research and development over profits. So that's
like,
why
you're saying put in more time to research.
Yes, putting more time to research. You know, because a lot of times
see if that's what your customers want.
Exactly, because a lot of times we see profit, and then we want to take the profit a little bit. And so a lot of times you got to learn how to, when you first start it, you got to learn how to reinvest back into the business before you start taking profit. Sometimes
that could be hard, because most business people, that's what they depend on. And
there is a book say profit first. You pay yourself first, but you still want to, as an entrepreneur starting out, you still want to prioritize research and development over profits. We're not saying don't pay yourself. You pay yourself.
Because you got to live something.
Yeah, you got to live something. Especially if you left your 9 to 5, and you went all in. So you pay if you make a profit, you make a money. Yes, pay yourself first, but still be prioritizing research and development over profits, so that we're able to build that trust, so that we're able to give feedback, so that we're able to build a sustainable brand, a sustainable business. Yeah.
What about the marketing strategy? Because I know, like we said, countries like the United States, and even your Steve Jobs, the Apple.
Yes, that's a good one.
They did great. They had great marketing strategies, and we can see the results of that. So what's your take on that? How can we build trust when it comes to marketing strategy?
Quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. Focus on creating quality content to build brand trust slowly. It's a slow grind. You got to play the long game. Even when you look at the different YouTube videos, if you look at Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, slow grind. He just put out videos, and then before you know it, he just grew slowly but surely. Got 1% better. Got 1% better by every uploaded, and now he's a master in what he's doing. And so, but just focus on quantity content. If you post something, we said last week, think before you post. Post with intention. Post with a purpose. Putting out quality. Learning what your audience wants from you. Learning, like if you're building a brand, niching down. Like, okay, where you good at? This is why I like the DISC assessment as well. Because when you understand yourself, and when you know your gifts and your qualities, you're able to speak on what you know. And that's about quality content, because we all have a gift. We all have knowledge. We all can speak about certain things that we learned in our fields, in our industry or whatever. You speak on that.
Absolutely. I've always thought like customer service plays a critical role, especially in the service industry, where you're giving out a service, and I think everything has a service industry in it. There's some sort of customer service that is needed. So in my mind, I feel like if you give the best customer service to your customers, then you are building the trust and loyalty. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I definitely want to focus on comprehensive customer training. Training is very important, and this is why we saying you sacrifice the short-term profits to ensure long-term customer loyalty. And so because if you don't have training, right?
So if you don't train your customers,
you train your employees, your staff. You don't, because if you don't train your employees, right, and you just get employees and they nasty, they rude,
you're gonna lose business.
You're gonna lose business. Nobody want to deal with people that rule and
have an attitude.
They have an attitude,
especially in retail. Retail, no matter how bad a customer is, there's a principle that the customer is always right. You just let it slide because you know what, you need them to come back for repeat business.
Yeah.
So they would tell people who are in the retail business that no matter what a customer says, don't talk back, don't fight back, just take it in because the customer is always right.
Yeah, and so this is why you want to have training, rigorous training, and
so that they know.
So they know, and so this is about you reinvested back into the business. You sacrifice profits because you have to invest in customer service. You have to invest in research and development. You have to invest in these things so that you're able to build trust. You could, at the end of the day, you're trying to learn your customer. You're trying to understand your audience. You're trying to understand what they like and what they don't like, so that you able to put out a better product. The more you able to understand your customer, the better you will be in marketing and strategy and things like that. The reason why Apple and all these different things have built a good brand because they understand their customers. They understand their audience. They know what they want.
Yeah, and because I think as a result of that, then you build interpersonal trust within the business networks. Everybody, when the customers trust you, then your service providers will trust you as well because it all works together.
Yeah, and like I said, and the slow but crucial process of building trust. It's slow, but guess what? When you build it right, eventually you will get there. It's a slow grind. But you're playing a long game. You're building a business, and so a lot of time we want things fast and we want things quick.
Doesn't hurt.
Huh? It don't hurt. It don't hurt. It don't hurt. But it definitely don't hurt when But some and you know what though? Can I say this? Some businesses will be fast. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna, but when you know how to build the trust. You might have a product today and you come out today and the timing is right. And another thing is all about timing. So
timing is everything.
Yeah, time is everything. So sometimes when you come out today and you can see success tomorrow. You can see but the thing is you don't want to focus on that. You want to prioritize these different things and building brand loyalty and building trust so that because at the end of the day you want that brand equity so that when things don't go well or maybe you're not at your best because you're not going to always be at your best as a brand. Look at Kanye West and look at Elon. So you're not always at your best every day. And so when you build that trust, like Apple's another one, Steve Jobs built a good brand. Apple not really at their best right now, but because they built it right.
Why you say that?
Huh?
Why are you saying they're not at their best?
Because they're coming out with phones, but they're not, it's like the same thing. They're not really coming out with, they're not upgrading.
That's their brand, phones.
Huh?
That's their brand. Phones.
Yeah, but they don't really come out with. They make one or two changes.
People are still buying it. So.
But
if it works though, don't try to fix it.
They built the brand to the point that Steve Jobs built the brand to the point that people now love Apple. So regardless if they make a change or they don't make a change, when they go, and this is why another thing too, the phones, their phone went down. Nobody really buy new phones from Apple. They keep the old one. They kind of keep the old
And where
one.
did you get this information from?
Google.
Okay.
But still, people. What happened, right, with the phones? Let's say with the phones, right? So people love iPhones. So what they doing is, even though they come up with
You
it,
had to show us.
yeah,
Show and tell.
yeah, sure tell. So even like with the phones, like because people love Apple, and they know Apple, they come out with a new phone, but they make 1-2 changes. People say, you know what? Why should I get a new phone? I just keep the same one. I'm still rocking with you. I'm hoping that you upgrade the phone a
Make a
little.
drastic change.
Exactly. I'm hoping, but so what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna wait, and I just keep my old phone until I see the changes that I want to see. But I just keep, cause right now the phone that I have is good enough than what you producing, and this is what people are doing. So, but when you build that trust, like Steve Jobs did, people still hold on to the brand even though they're not making too many changes. But because he built this so much, people they would just hold on to the older phone until they make the changes. Or
I don't blame them because Apple doesn't come cheap.
it don't.
And the more numbers they go up, the more money it goes up. So
Yeah.
you know, the economy is not the greatest right now. So.
Yes. So this is when you want to have feedback sessions, constructive feedback sessions that promote respect and fairness. So you always having these feedback sessions, and this I believe this is how Apple building a brand, and this is how we building a brand. This is why we always ask for feedback. We always ask for reviews, and we always ask for your comments and things like that, because it helps us to put out better content, to do better. Because if you don't give us the feedback, then we kind of guessing.
Feedback is through in this way. If for us, it's through comments.
It's through comments. Yes.
Add your comment below. Tell us what you think. Tell us where you want us to improve. Tell us what kind of topics you'd like us to cover.
Yes. So that and this is what happened when you don't get the feedback, or you don't have the feedback surveys, or you're not asking people for your feedback, or having surveys and having questionnaires and all these different things. This is how you get that feedback sessions. It helps you to build a better product, and this is what you want. And this is why we encourage the feedback loop and asking for the review, so that you end up you want to produce good quality content, like I said earlier. Quality over quantity.
Yeah, so I think that it's not just within the feedback with your customers, but also feedback with everybody that's involved. So whole meetings,
Yes.
People get, like you said, surveys, do questionnaires, whatever that it takes in order for you to see that are you moving in the right direction or not.
Yeah, and not just with your customers as well. Like you said, with as well as with your employees. You also want, I think some of these, like Walmart, some of these, sometimes, they sit in with their customers. Yeah.
And even like have, what do these things they call? Not support groups, but
Focal groups.
Focus
groups, yes.
Because with that, at least you get, like, I'll say in brackets, feedback, like honest feedback. Yeah, because that has something to do with the research as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, because with the informal discussions, so the goal is to have this we spirit within your team, and buy-in, just buy-in within your team. So that's the main thing when you're building a business. Even with your customer, you want that buy-in. You want to build that trust. And so one way how you build trust with your team is brainstorming on lunches, casual lunches, where teams brainstorm different ideas, and coffee break chats, encouraging informal discussions. And so I used to work for the marketing company, and so one of the things that we did, we always had these night outs, after work social events. where we meeting up, we having fun, we enjoying each other. You networking, you building, you talking about the company, you sharing your ideas. So these different events, these different functions that we do with the coffee breaks, the you meeting, at the court, you drink a coffee together and you just having conversations. You have a lunch together. You just have a conversation. You're brainstorming. And
So it's not gossip sessions. It's
yes,
feedback sessions.
Feedback session. Yes, and not gossip
Because
session.
usually when you meet at the coffee
Shop,
not shop, coffee stall at the job.
You gossiping.
It's mostly gossip.
Yes, yeah. No. When you start, you want it, and this is what happens when you have these networking events. It's so even meeting up with at a mastermind. You meet up at a book club. These different things, it helps you to to get some ideas when you come together with other like-minded individuals. So it's very important to have these different network events, because at the end of the day, you're looking for feedback. This is part of research. And even for myself, what I like to do, I could be as a business, I could be talking to somebody on the street, and I'm trying to figure out what they do, how they do it. I'm trying to see what can I learn from that individual, what can I get from that individual, so that and see where they at. Because maybe just by talking that to that person, I might come up with a product. I might get an idea that for a product or for a business. And so I this is how I come up with a lot of my ideas as well. Sometimes I could be listening to a podcast. Sometimes I might be talking to somebody and we just having a conversation. And I'm just figuring out where they at and what they doing, and something just sparking me. So, these things is critical. These is golden. Don't neglect these feedback loops, these conversations that when you riding on the train, when you on the plane, and don't just be, a lot of times we go on there, we probably like to watch movies and we, just to pass time, but sometimes just sit back and have a conversation with people.
People just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered when I'm traveling. I want to mind my own business.
Yeah, and so I think that's fine. Sometimes you have those moments where you just want to travel and you just want to mind your own business, but every now and then, so even when let's say when you're traveling, it's a long flight, every now and then you still pull over and have that conversation, whatever. Yeah.
So let's just share some practical steps to building trust, because that's what we're mainly talking about in this episode. What are some of the practical steps that we can share with our audience in building trust in a business or brand?
So what are the steps? Definitely transparency, always being open, always being genuine with your decision making. Letting your customers know, your employees know what you're doing in with different projects. You're letting your customers, you're letting your employees know, because you want happy customers, you want happy employees, and when they are in the loop, they don't mind coming to work every day. So that transparency is definitely a factor in building that trust and getting that buy-in from your stakeholders. So transparent in every decision maker, especially every key decision maker. You building, you having transparency, you being open. Yeah.
And I think my one will be consistent communication across the board. Just communicate. Find out what works, what doesn't. I would also pose it to the Chaplain Children right now. What kind of topics do you want us to cover? Are you enjoying these kind of business topics? What would you rather we talk about? Because at the end of the day, you are our audience, and we want to make you happy, because we don't want to see our viewership go down because we're talking about what matters to us and not what matters to you. We're building a brand, and we're building a channel with you, not for ourselves, but with you.
Yeah, I agree. One is to follow through on promise. When you're building a business, whatever you said to your customers, whatever you said to your employees, you follow through. You stick to the plan.
Stick to your word.
Stick to your word. You follow through on that promise. You don't change. You don't say you're gonna do something.
Be a man or
Man or
woman
woman
of
your word. If you said you're gonna do something, you do it. If you said you're gonna come on at this time, you come on this time. If you said you're gonna have this, you're gonna come out on this day, you come on this day. If you tell your employees we're gonna have certain events, you follow through on promise. And this is why planning is very important, so that you don't make false promises. This is why you have these sessions, so that in these research sessions, so that you able to follow through on promise, because you're able to be on budget and you're able to plan accordingly, because at the end of the day, you're building that trust,
right?
And you want to follow through. You don't want to be a liar. So this is why you want to be reliable. You want to be reliable. So this is why you have this. You have research. This is
so that you fulfill your commitments.
Yes. This is why you have these different sessions, so that you can fulfill and follow through. Because if you don't follow through, you're gonna lose that trust, and people are gonna walk away and they're gonna leave you, or they're not gonna support you.
They'll say you won't keep your promise anyway. So what's the point?
What's the point
of supporting you?
Yes.
So I think that's the main thing in business, or in just building a brand.
Yes.
Just be consistent, keep your word, and give quality over quantity.
Yes. Because it's even like with the election, even like sometimes with the election, people's like, oh, I'm not going to vote because my vote.
We already know.
Yeah, my vote don't count anyway, so why should I vote? So that's the thing, that they don't have trust in the elections. A lot of times, people don't have trust in the elections because crooked politicians, they lost their trust. And so now the people say, why should I vote? My vote don't count anyway. When we say your vote do count, regardless of the bad apples out there. Regardless of the bad.
I still need to understand American politics, though, with this college. What is it called?
Electoral
college.
Yeah, I really don't understand it either.
Your vote doesn't count.
Your vote do count.
Whatever.
Your vote count.
So just go and vote, although it doesn't count. So I think we've come to the end of our episode. We always say that's a wrap. Where we were talking about how we can transform trust within building our brands and businesses, and even just brand equity, right? So we have spoken about practical steps. LJ covered a few practical steps on how to build enduring trust and loyalty in our businesses and brands. So we hope that these insights gave you kind of, a light on what we wanted to share with you. And it also burned that fire underneath your feet to say, hey, maybe I wasn't doing it right. Maybe this is the way I should do it. And having said that, we want to invite you to come join us in our book club. That is, we're having it every Saturday. And it's virtual. You don't have to be in the same room with us. It's part of our community, the Next Opportunity window. If you want more information, do check out the description box below. But we really love to be with you. Right now, we are going through The Art of Focus. That's the book. And we have a link below where you can purchase the book and read it along with us. There's so much nuggets to learn as Coach LJ takes us through this book and highlights certain things that we have to look out for in order to be better business people.
Yes, and we also said, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, join the waiting list to the 6-month mentorship boot camp, so that you had to learn about how to build trust, and you had to learn about different business strategies and marketing and leadership and research, how to research your brand. So this is all inside the 6-month mentorship boot camp, so that you become that better businesswoman or businessman.
Because that's the point. I think that's why we're pushing more business in our Friday episode, so that we become better business people, better entrepreneurs. So Chaplain Chillers, we want to say to you, stay inspired, keep pushing boundaries, and remember, trust is the foundation of any great enterprise and relationship. Once you lose trust, forget it. That relationship is not going to grow. It is good as dead. All right? So keep chilling, and let's transform our dreams into reality together.
Yes. And we always say, if you enjoyed this episode, check out the next episode we have for you. And we always sign off with deuces.
Yes.
Peace.